Om Swastiastu. Thank you for the chance given to us. Let me introduce myself. My name is Prima Devi Hutaminingrum, and my partner is Kadek Antari. So we are from Group 4, and in this occasion, we will present about learning model of cooperative learning that include the definition of learning model and cooperative learning, characteristic, the objective, the example, the process of cooperative learning, the analysis video of cooperative learning implementation, the result of a cooperative learning, and conclusion. So today I will present about the definition learning model and cooperative learning, the characteristic, the objective, and the example. The definition of the learning model. According to Tahir in 2012, the learning model is a plan that is used as a reference in arranging learning in the classroom, such as to create face-to-face teaching patterns and define learning tools. Then for the example of learning models are cooperative learning, discovery or inquiry-based learning, problem-based learning, and project-based learning. So on this occasion, we will talk further about the cooperative learning. Next, I will present about the definition of cooperative learning based on expert. According to Zinn and Agrawal in 2011, a cooperative learning is a learning process individually in a small group with the help of one another to face to the competition in education system. And according to Johnson and Johnson in 1999, a cooperative learning is an instructional strategy for students in small group to work together and join assignment in order to achieve common goals. And another from based on Salvin in 1996, cooperative learning is an instructional program where students work in a small group and to help each other in mastering academic content. And based on Gills in 2016, cooperative learning is a pedagogical practice that introduces socialization and learning to students from preschool to tertiary institution and various subjects. And for the last is, according to Go and Shishad in 2015, cooperative learning is a teaching method that involves students in learning process so that students can understand and study the subject matter given. So cooperative learning is an instructional strategy which makes students work into a small group, then socialize and help each other in order to achieve their academic goals. So for the next, I will present about the characteristic of cooperative learning. In characteristic of cooperative learning based on Singh and Agrawal in 2011, there are 6 characteristics. So for the first is positive interdependence. Second is individually accountability. Third is face-to-face promotive interaction. Fourth is interpersonal and small group skills. Fifth is group processing. And for the last is heterogeneous groups. So for positive interdependence, in a study group, namely positive goal interdependence, positive reward, positive research interdependence, and positive rule interdependence. So for the first is positive goal interdependence. In this method, students will feel they can achieve their learning goals and goals if and only if all members of the group can also achieve their goals. So next is positive reward. In this session, all students get and receive the same reward when all group members can achieve their goals. Next is positive research interdependence. In positive research interdependence, each member of the group has a source of information or material needed to complete the task, and the information source can be combined with the group so that its goals can be achieved. And for the last is positive role interdependence. In this method, each member of the group is given a role to complement and connect with each other to determine the respective responsibility the group needs in completing tasks. So for the next characteristic of cooperative learning is individually accountability. According to Singh and Agarwal in 2011, individual accountability when assessed for the result will be given back to individuals, and groups and students are responsible for the group meet to make a fair contribution to success of the group. The next characteristic is face-to-face promotive interaction. In this technique can be defined as individuals who encourage each other and facilitate effort to achieve complete tasks and produce this that must be done to achieve their goals or group goals. The next characteristic is interpersonal and small group skills. Interpersonal and small group skills are an essential element in appropriate cooperative and small group learning. In coordinating this effort in order to achieve common goals, a student must be able to recognize and trust each other and communicate accurately and clearly, accept and support each other, and resolve conflicts constructively. Next is group processing. Group processing can be influenced by the process of the group in reflection on how well they do the assigned tasks when working together. And for the last is heterogeneous groups. In heterogeneous groups, in cooperative learning are appropriate and relatively small. The measure that can be applied is usually 4 until 5 students that consisting male or female and female students and students with different ability levels. That's all about the characteristic of cooperative learning. So for the next, I will present about the objective of characteristic. So according to Salvin in 1996, cited in Singh and Agarwal in 2011, the objective of cooperative learning has 5. They are, for the first is to encourage students to help each other in maximizing learning. Second is to foster a collaborative atmosphere as opposed to competitive environment. Third is to assume leadership responsibility. Fourth is to increase self-esteem. And for the last is to work together and be responsible for joint assignment. So for the next is example of cooperative learning. So according to Jacob in 2004 and according to Tarhan and Sensen in 2012, there are 4 examples of cooperative learning. The first is circle of speakers, and second is right pair switch. Third is question and answer pairs, and for the last is jigsaw. So for the first is circle of speakers. This is consisting of 2 until 4 students who take turn to speak and can do repeatedly in the group. And students must also listen, take note, and give question or give feedback for their group friends. And then the teacher randomly select several students to re-explain what they have discussed with their group friends. And this technique can be used by students in turn when writing, or they can write and speak at every opportunity. Next is with right pair switch. So in this technique, each student is asked to work alone and then write the answer, and then students share their answer with their partner, and after which a student exchange partner and share the idea that they have previously discussed with their partners, and then share them with the new partner. So for the third is question and answer pairs. So for this technique, students work independently to write 1 or more questions, and then they write down the answer in they write the answer the answer to the question that have been made and write on a sheet of paper, and then exchange the answer with peers. And after students answer the question from their groups or partner, they will compare the answer. And for the last is jigsaw. So according to Tarhan and Sensor in 2012, jigsaw is a technique that makes each other students responsible for understanding the material that must be mastered, and then educating their group of friends. So in jigsaw, when jigsaw group, students discuss the specific material and exchange idea with another one. So the students return their home groups and teach their friends with the material they must master, and then rewrite the previous discussion to their group members. That's all about the definition, characteristic, and objective and example of cooperative learning. So for the next material, will be presented by my partner Kadek Antari.
Thank you for the chance given to me, and thank you for my partner Prima Devi Hutaminingrum who introduced me in the first. My name is Kadek Antari, and now I will continue my friend's presentation about cooperative learning. And my friends tell about the examples of cooperative learning before, so I would like to continue her presentation into the process of cooperative learning. As we can see before, one example of technique of cooperative learning is jigsaw. According to Nurbianta on 2018, jigsaw has simple process with niche 4 stages to do in the 3 activities. So this is the 4 stages that including in the jigsaw technique. It is divided into opening activities, main activities, and closing activities. I will explain one by one. So for the first is opening activities. In the opening activities, all students in the class are divided into small groups, and then the number of groups is adjusted to the number of problems given by the teacher. And these groups are called home groups. And each member of home's group will be given a different submaterial. They must be able to understand and explain the submaterial well, and they are also given the same question from the teacher according to the indicators. And each member of the home groups works on the problem individually within a certain team. I will continue to the main activities. In main activities, the home groups will be spirited and form a new group by bringing up the same question. So for all of the students who have the same submaterial or have the same question, they should make a new group. This group is called expert group or jigsaw groups. In this group, they discuss the same submaterial. They explain their point of view and discuss with each other regarding to the answer to the question given. And the third one is closing activities. In closing activities, after all of the students in the jigsaw groups finish their discussion, they should return to their home groups, and each member should socialize the answer they get from the jigsaw group and make presentation per group. So now we will watch a video of the implementation of cooperative learning in the classroom. So this video apply the jigsaw technique in the learning process. Let's watch together.
Jigsaw. Today, you are going to work in a group to learn information from a lengthy text, even without reading the entire passage. To start, everyone in the class will be given the same text. Then, each member of the group will be assigned a small piece of the text. Once you know what part of the text you are responsible for, start reading. Work independently. Look for key points, new information, and answers to questions. After everyone in the class is finished reading, you're going to meet in an expert group. The expert group is everyone in the class who read the same part of the text. In the expert group, ask each other questions, share your thoughts on the reading, and then when you're done, return to your original group. In the group, it is your job to share the important points about what you have read. Then listen to the others in the group to learn what the rest of the text was about. As a group, make sure everyone knows everything about the text, because at the end of the activity, your teacher will assess your understanding of the entire text. Jigsaw.
So now, after we watch the video about the jigsaw technique that apply in the learning process, I will explain about the analysis of that video. So I will explain one by one from the opening activities. So on that video, the opening activities, there are 9 students that are divided into 3 small groups, and one home group consists of 3 people. They were given a material consisting of 3 submaterials, namely photosynthesis, raw materials, and also the products. A student in every group gets one submaterial that must be studied, and they have to read and do assignments individually. And on the main activities, students in the home groups dividing themselves and form a new group with the same submaterial. This is called an expert groups or jigsaw groups. They have to hold a discussion about the submaterial and express their opinion regarding to the text. And this discussion also limited by the time. And for the closing activities, the members of jigsaw groups return to their home groups and discuss the entire content of the material. Each member explained the discussion result while them in the jigsaw groups before. And everyone must be understand each submaterial because it will be evaluated by the teacher. And after I analyzed that video, actually I have my own opinion about that video. That video was so good and also detailed to explain us about the jigsaw technique. But in my opinion, after the students return to their group and also understand all of the material well, they can make a group presentation so the teacher can assess the students' understanding and comprehension about that material by they doing the presentation in front of the class and explain what they know about that material. Now we move to the research. On this presentation, I want to explain about the research that I found before about the cooperative learning. I will explain one by one about this research by mentioning the elements of the research. The first one is the title. The title is The Effectiveness of Jigsaw Method in Improving Students' Reading Comprehension. And the name of the author is Hana Dahlia Nurbianta on 2018. And the objectives of this research is to find out the effectiveness of jigsaw method in order to motivate students in learning English, especially to reading skill. And the subject is the 7th grade students in SMPN 13 Brau in 2017. And the object is the use of jigsaw method in reading instruction. And the design of this research is pre-experimental design by pre-test and also post-test one group. And the technique of data analysis is by analyzing and calculate the collected data. And now I will explain about the procedure of this research. The first step is the researcher was taken 30 students as the sample by random sampling technique. It will be the instrument that will be researched. And the second step is the researcher resets students' achievement in reading comprehension through the use of the jigsaw method. And in obtaining the data, the researcher used the test instrument in this research. The researcher also administered the 2 tests. There are pre-test and also post-test. Pre-test is a test that given before the treatment, and also the post-test is a test that given after the treatment of jigsaw method. And the third step is the data collected by the means of the test instrument were analyzed differently based on specific purposes. And the fourth step is the instrument was tested then analyzed by scoring, normality, homogeneity, mean, t-test, and hypothesis testing. And this is the findings of that research. We can see from this table, there are three tables. The first one is the score of students. We know if the pre-test score and also the post-test score is really different. On the pre-test score, the student score lower than the post-test score. It means there was an improvement from the student. From the second table, we know if the pre-test score was 76 in maximum and the minimum score was 56. Then the score for post-test was 95 in maximum and the score of minimum was 68. It was tell us about the score maximum and minimum of post-test is higher than the pre-test after they are given the treatment using jigsaw method in the process of English teaching learning. And the third table, the result of student score. It means the qualification based on the student score. If they have 84 until 100, it means they are excellent. And if they got 72 until 83, it means they are good, and so on. And based on that research finding, we can take three results from that. First one is that the test instrument used in the research was appropriate in the term of the objective and applicable in this particular situation because the prepared test curricularly valid and reliable. And the second result, the score of post-test is higher than pre-test in conducted jigsaw method in SMPN 13 Berau. And the third result is there is significant difference of jigsaw method used that exists on respondents, specifically students in SMPN 13 Berau during learning English as second language or ESL, specifically for reading instruction. And now we will move to the conclusion of the research. This research aimed at finding out the effectiveness of using jigsaw method in improving reading comprehension for 7th grade students of SMPN 13 Berau, and that purpose or objective has achieved the expected results. This can be seen from the post-test score, which is higher than the pre-test score. Jigsaw make it easy for students to interact with their friends and discuss the learning material. This can build their motivation and also form a good mindset. And they are also learn positive study habits by the partner to improve each student reading comprehension. Therefore, the result of this research indicate that the use of jigsaw methods has a good effect on the development of reading comprehension in 7th grade students of SMPN 13 Berau. Now we will move to the strengths and also weaknesses of cooperative learning. According to Gufron and Ermawati on 2018, cooperative learning has its strengths and also weaknesses if it applied in learning process. For the strength itself, you can see on the screen there are some advantages that will have by the students if they study with cooperative learning. The first one is make students actively participate in the learning process. The second one is increase students' motivation, courage, and confidence. And the third one, make students more responsible for their assignment. Fourth one, provide opportunities for students to express their ideas and also opinions. And for the fifth, make students understand the lesson more easily. However, cooperative learning also has its own weaknesses. If the teacher wants to apply it in the classroom, it will take a long time to implement. And the teachers and students must work actively to make the learning process successful. The participation from the students and also the teacher is very needed for this application. And also if the teacher doesn't master the learning model well, if they are not confident for applying the cooperative learning in the classroom, it will be difficult for the teacher to manage the whole class. And because this is the last material, now finally we move to the conclusion. Overall, this presentation was about cooperative learning. Cooperative learning is an instructional strategy that makes students work into a small group, then they socialize and also help each other in order to achieve academic goals. It helps students to maximize learning process. They also can build confidence and also motivation, and they also create good teamwork. And one example of cooperative learning technique is jigsaw. As what I said before, jigsaw makes students improve their knowledge, their good behavior, and also their teamwork. It shows if cooperative learning can improve the students' knowledge and also social skill. But it has also some weaknesses, such as needs more time to apply in the classroom, and teacher must be master it well to achieve the goal of the learning. Alright, this is the end of this presentation, but before I finish the presentation today, I would like to give a quote from William Glasser. William Glasser has said, "We learn 10% of what we read, 20% of what we hear, 30% of what we see, 50% of what we see and hear, 70% of what we discuss, 80% of what we experience, and 95% of what we teach others." If the teachers would like to apply cooperative learning in the classroom, please make sure if the students know what will they do. Therefore, they can help each other and also learn new knowledge from their friends. That's all from our presentation today. Thank you for watching and hope you can get the benefit from this presentation. I would like to apologize if there are mistakes for our presentation. And for finish this presentation, I would like to end with Panganjali Umat. Om Santi 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 Om. See you!